So, yeah, what's up tonight? We've been gallery glassing. Having lots of fun doing all this stained glass look for a little while. And,
That's pretty.
yeah, it's so much fun. But definitely I'm
I
missing...
haven't tried any of that.
No,
Not yet.
no, definitely it's just getting some glass pieces and getting the products and copying designs. Definitely patterns are very helpful, or creating your own patterns is what I taught everybody too. We spent like probably a good 3-day class, because you have to wait for the letting to dry before you put the color in. And then I wanted to explain like so many different ideas and crazy ways to play with it. So definitely we played with 3 good patterns for sure. A really, really easy one. And then, you know, really color mixing and making new colors and playing around with my Blue Jay. So hopefully you saw on my page, I've been posting all kinds of pictures on there. Yeah, you're still welcome to jump on the gallery glass if you guys are interested. Definitely the recording's there. You can check out the class and then order the products, see if you know you'd like to do that or do it the other way around. You can get everything through all the important stuff definitely you can get through Donna. And while you're ordering other paints and brushes and stencils and whatever else goodies she's got, definitely you can multitask your orders through Donna.
Yeah, that little Amanda got me on a roll.
Oh, did she?
She did. I painted back years ago, back in the 80s and 90s. You know, my mother painted too, but we lived in different states at the time. And so I went to go use my paints, and my paints were all dried up.
Oh.
So I had to buy new paints. So, and then she starts running all these specials. And it's like, Amanda, you've got to stop this. I'm spending all my money.
And she won't stop.
Oh, she's not stopping.
Nope.
And then Donna starts in.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just it, right? There's so much to do and so much fun to be had.
Funny, though.
And we're all starting and stopping and different places in our career too. Some of us are really new, and so we definitely have a lot of catching up to do, because she's been at this for so long, and she's changed styles through the years too. So definitely involving yourself, and like we will too. Like we start off with the basic strokes, and then, you know, bump ourselves up a little harder and harder and try new things.
But yeah, that gallery glass, I definitely want to learn how to do that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. You can message me on Facebook if you have any questions about it, or check out my site in the project library. Or if you want to download all the videos, you can grab it in the downloadable. But you can also watch everything on my site too. So through the years, I've talked to a lot of people that said they have a hard time keeping all these videos because there's so many of them, like especially when you start adding on Donna's. And now she's done the YouTube too, so that helps a lot of people too, that, you know, they don't have to save all these videos. But I've been at this now for about over 5-6 years now, trying to, you know, keep adding to it too, and give it, well, my students a site member access, so that they don't have to download the videos. They can just go ahead and watch everything there, and then they just have to save the practice sheets or whatever patterns or something like that goes with the video. So yeah, I've created a big site. Definitely want to show you guys around and introduce, you know, anybody that's new that pops in today to myself. If they don't know me by now, I am a master elite instructor through Donna. And I'm able to teach all the certifications, and
Nice.
yeah, as well as I do a lot of fun and easy projects. And I've got a big membership too that I've started, where you can just watch all the videos on this one membership page, and they're all really fun and easy ones. So it depends on where you are at your level of creating. Like some people are ready to do all those advanced ones, so that's where the project library is usually, you know, the real big 3-day events, or series, or there's different practice programs that I've created through the years. They kept all the recordings from all the different classes that I've had, so I try not to repeat myself too much. Like, I won't do another live glass gallery glass event unless I do an advanced one now, like if I come up with a real crazy way of doing something and you guys really want to learn it. But other than that, like, I gave you so much in that class that definitely it's all there still for you. Hello, Myra. Welcome. Happy to see
I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, definitely. Unmute yourself anytime if you want to ask any questions or got any input in any way. I'm always, I like to hear from everybody. Miss Donna and Sue have been with me for a while, so they definitely know what I'm all about. And
Mandy, this is what I did this afternoon.
oh, what are the Pikachu, or what?
It's a Pikachu for my nephew.
Yeah, so cute. Oh my
And
God.
then I'm working on it. I just put my finger in it. I'm working on a unicorn. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see the unicorn itself in there. Yeah, I just put my finger in the purple.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, you'll just have to share some pictures with us later so we can see them up in a window or something. Yeah, see the brilliance.
Yeah, I'll go get my other one that I'm working on. I'll show you.
Oh my God, yeah, you're having fun with it, eh? She's addicted. I'm telling you, Cheryl, don't start. Just don't. Because you got too much on the go. I'm telling you, it is so much fun. It really is. It's very simple to do. Like, once you get the hang of getting it all out even, I mean, after that, it's so mindless. You can just sit and relax and play with color. There's no stress about it at all. And the brilliance that you can create and have so much fun. And pretty, once you get it started, like I said, it's pretty affordable. Like, especially you can go to the thrift stores and get glass frames pretty cheap. And or different items, like I've done some plates and candle holders and
But you would think that it would be like riding a bicycle. You haven't ridden it for so long, but you never forget how. But when I was painting back in the 80s and 90s, and now coming back to it, it's like I've got a little bit of tremors, and I'm older, and it's like, oh wow, am I going to be able to do this? And I've bought all this stuff from Amanda and Donna.
well,
I've bought patterns and everything.
I can definitely share from some experience of just being excited. Like, I'm bouncing and I can't paint straight. And I'm like, how am I going to do this when I'm so excited? And it's just, you learn to embrace it and kind of go with it and expect it. Just keep pushing yourself to be so familiar with it through the good and the bad that you know what to expect. And that's what I always say with the one-stroke technique. It's not always learning how to put two colors on your brush. It's learning how to get yourself out of trouble. And that's what the biggest thing for me. And when you do have a little mistake, how do I erase it and quickly move on and correct it and add to it? Or, you know what I mean? When do I let it dry and just go over it again? Or when is there a chance that I can actually just erase it and start all over? So the more you can play and learn all the different ways of getting yourself out of trouble, I always say, the more you're not afraid to try. And then and all that, it just kind of relaxes you a little bit. So if there is any kind of, oh my God, I'm so excited, or if, I only have a half an hour to play, now you're going to force yourself to hurry up. All those little things will make you shake, right? So you definitely got to try to eliminate everything that's possible.
Well, I even took a one-on-one with Donna, and it was like, God, she makes it look so easy.
She does, yeah.
I mean, it's just like nothing to her because she's been doing it for so long.
Eats it, sleeps it, dreams it. She definitely lives it, and she, and that's the comfort level that we need to get to. Is being able to just get it on there, and if I don't like it, I'll go over it again. And there's a lot of people out there that think one stroke should be perfect stroke the first time. One stroke.
No,
definitely
that's not it.
You can always add to it, always enhance it, always highlight it more. You can always change your mind, blend it a little bit more, change the wiggle. I mean, there's so many different ways of playing around. It's endless, and the more you get comfortable with all the different ways, and that's why I built my program the way I did too through the years, and I kept adding to it a little bit, and but definitely bumping you up slowly, a little at a time. So you're not starting with the hardest stuff first, which everybody's
another thing,
attracted
too,
to.
this was part of a conversation here just recently that I was having with somebody that, when someone buys a piece of art, it's not like it's perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Right.
I mean, that's what makes all of us artists unique. Everybody has their own flair. They have their own style.
Definitely.
They might use a little bit more white in the highlighting than they do in the shading. And it's just, everybody is different.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like I said, all the little
Nothing.
tweaks, right? Some people love to play with all the little extras that you can put in, and some people just want to do it simply and in simpler ways, and they're happy with that too, right? We all have our different styles, more abstract, definitely. Some people that's all they do is roses. They don't do any other flowers. They just play with roses, and they just love roses in a million different ways. But definitely, that's their niche, right? Where some people love sunflowers. Some people, definitely, we all have our favorite things to do, like glass items. Some people love painting on fabric. That's all they'll do, right? Like jean jackets or purses or, all different kinds of things they specialize in, right? So, and that's the wonderful thing about One Stroke is that it's so diverse, and plaid has made it easier and easier for us through the years that all we need is the multi-surface paint.
Right.
The only thing
back then they didn't have that multi-surface back then.
No, and then they had the enamels for glass. They did come out with a fabric paint, but then you got to buy all these different paints to do different surfaces. So now, if you haven't heard, or I don't know, maybe like you're new and you don't know all the benefits of all the multi-surfaces, all you have to do is change the floating medium to the textile medium, or to, we have a couple different mediums now. If some people like oil painting, or they need more open time for their paint to dry slower. So, definitely we have more clears and liquids mediums that we can mix with our paint that will make it more versatile for more different surfaces.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that though, but that's cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely a plus.
That's a big change from back then.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to share that with you, because definitely there's a lot of different mediums. I've got quite a few videos now that we've done, different meet and greets and things that we've played with.
I never would have imagined that there would have been that many different mediums.
Yeah, there's a glazing medium too, so when you're doing backgrounds and you want to do different washes and stuff like that, you can definitely play around with a glazing medium. The blending gel is definitely what's going to give you your slower time. Extender gels. There's so the most popular is our floating medium, and that's pretty versatile, pretty much for everything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And definitely a lot of us paint on canvas, or doing a lot of cards, like doing birthday cards and holiday cards on cardstock. So
I
definitely.
haven't gotten to painting that small yet.
Well, it doesn't have to be too small. Let me show you guys down here. Even any size, like if you can cut any cardstock in half, and that's a nice size card, and you can still do some nice size elements on it. Definitely tiny painting is something that I kind of played around with a lot, because I'm a retired nail technician, so I used to paint roses on nails. So I did.
Oh, you'd be fantastic at painting on those nails.
Yeah. So definitely that's where I started One Stroke. I didn't even get to canvases, or I didn't even know about Donna.
Wow.
I just learned about putting two colors on my brush to create these roses on nails, and I didn't even know that Donna kind of came up with it.
You were putting roses on nails?
Yeah, if you look through,
Wow.
if you look through some of my page in the photo albums and stuff like that, you'll see definitely some.
Boy, I bet there's a lot of girls that would love that.
Yeah, I just actually Penny. I don't know if you've seen her share on my group and page there. She just finished my program, and she's a nail tech as well. But then also we learned that there's benefits of painting bigger too. And we can make gift bags for our customers, and, sell other items along with our salons, not on the side, make some extra money. You definitely keep playing and practicing, making cards, whatever you want to add to your little business, right? And definitely keeps you practicing. And then I always suggest, because we have like the 10 set, right? There's 10 brushes in our set, and we do have a lot of different sizes, so practicing with your 12 and then your 10 and then your 8 and then getting down to that 6 slowly, a little at a time, making sure that you understand how to do your basic flower, and then just keep practicing that smaller and smaller. Definitely there's some tricks as you get smaller, but it is all about playing, right? Trying to push yourself. Do you want to paint on little keychains or make little tiny things? Then definitely, you can do it. That's the versatility about it.
I couldn't imagine painting on nails. That is tiny.
Yeah. I don't even do my own anymore because I hurt my thumb, long story short, and I had to get out of the industry. And I've always loved creating, and I always loved color and mixing colors and playing around.
Wow.
So this is how I got addicted to one stroke. And I've been at it now for almost 10 years now, good 10 years. Working myself up through the levels and playing around and pushing it to extremes. Like this is done with a liner brush, like just playing and getting 2 colors on your brush and playing around with all the different wiggle strokes and different smoother strokes. Like I say there's like 6 different shell strokes, just depending on the way you wiggle it, whether you close it or open it. Are you creating a small center or a big center? Like there's so many little variations on that 5-petal flower, right? So this is my course number 5. It's all about the shell strokes. And so it all leads you up. I do have 14 courses if you need a little refresher. It's not necessarily beginner. It's really to bump up your stroke work, really push yourself. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing one stroke. If you feel like you're struggling in any way, definitely having a complete program to be able to bump yourself up is what I've created here, and you can practice on your own time, right? And,
nice.
And I work with you on Zoom private or through Messenger. You can send me pictures for your homework to see how you're doing, and so it's all guided, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder at a time.
Right. Wow.
So, and then I got a package deal on all that.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
For sure. And then I also got a bonus. This is a $125 5-day course that we did, the boot camp. So after you did my program, you really want to bump yourself even more. We did the boot camp, so that's a free bonus that I'm throwing in with the full program. That you get the boot camp as well. So I've got a 30% coupon for you to save off the $245 for the 14 courses if you're interested. And then we have a private group that we invite you to. And definitely it'll get you up to that level where you'll be able to. A lot of my students have told me that I feel more comfortable keeping up to Donna now, because I've kind of helped them read between the lines in a lot of the things that she does.
Yeah.
And then that's my big oversize I did for my master.
Wow. Pretty.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun playing with texture pastes and, really we were playing a lot more with different things than Donna used to. So that's what the level 3, all done with multi-surface again, and then adding a thicker paste to it.
Right.
So that you're really getting a lot of texture bumps and then it also acts more like an oil paint too with it, so it's really lots of fun. So that's another level of certification. Yeah, definitely. That's what keeps me going, right? You have hard times, good times, bad times. Definitely creating can get you through a lot of great things. Doing a lot of great things to get you through some bad times too, right? So hopefully that'll be a spot for everybody to find,
like
time
therapy
for themselves. Yeah, a little bit of art therapy and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And definitely I'm here for you guys too. I love doing demos for you guys. We haven't played around with our one stroke for a while. Is there anything that you're struggling with? Myra was just saying that I should do a session on mediums Is there any particular question, Myra, that you might have on mediums? Because I have definitely talked about it before in some of my other... YouTube has all of my past sessions there, if they were hot topics. If you guys got a chance.
Hey, Mandy, I just heard you talk about mediums, and I probably didn't look at your YouTube archives, and I'll definitely get on there and see your videos on mediums. I don't have a specific question. I just don't know enough about the variety of them and how I can integrate them in my art.
Okay, well, definitely what they are is an aid for mostly the surface that you're working on. Maybe you think that they're a product by itself. Because, yeah, definitely I talk about all the different mediums when I'm doing a project. So if there's a little session that I'm doing in YouTube that you see on fabric, then definitely watch that fabric video and I'll talk about the medium I'm using with the paint. Then you'll get over to a glass video. And then if I have any little tips and tricks and things that I do on glass items, that's when I talk about all the different aids. And that's what these liquids are. They're like an aid for the paint. They'll either slow down the paint or they'll make it more runny, and especially when you're working on drier surfaces. It'll help float that color, especially when you're doing really long strokes, like long slider leaves, right? Or you really want that wiggle to go a long way. Definitely the paints sometimes get old. They get a little thick. So maybe one color is thicker than the other, so you might want to add a little tiny bit of medium to the corner of your brush that is thicker, that's not moving so well. So that's the main purpose of our floating medium. And then definitely you can still use some of these other mediums for the same reasons. You're still going to float with it. You're still going to be able to move that color more freely, but you got a different surface. So there's a flow medium, it's called, for glass. And then it's got the same integrity as the enamel paints that will stick to the glass, so then that way it lasts longer. It doesn't wash off, right? And you want to cure it.
Got it.
Definitely the paint, the longer it sits, like you can just let it air dry for 21 days. It's the same thing, it'll cure. And a lot of people for glass items, they're like, oh, I need to bake it. Well, I think it's just you wanting to bake it. You want to bake something, bake a cake. I mean, really, you don't have to, right? And or if they're in a real hurry and they want to get that item to somebody like within 3 days, then definitely, yeah, bake the glassware and then it'll cure faster, and then they'll be able to hand wash it and use it, and it'll be more durable, right?
Mandy, what would you use the flash iridescent for?
That has got some different pearl effects to it. And I have...
Would you use it on top of something or with your paint?
Donna, where did you get it?
It actually came in a kit that I ordered off of One Stroke when she was doing a special.
Oh.
And it came with the Frost Effect and this bottle, 2 big bottles, like this one and then Frost Effect.
Well, I used to do that effect on nails, actually. When you do that clear opal color over your French manicure on your nails, you know, that kind of clear see-through opal color? That's what I'm assuming that's what is going to give that color. Now, you'd have to read the instructions on that one, because I
haven't tried it yet.
I haven't tried it. Does it say to mix with paint or just use alone, pour it on? Because the frost paint things, too, sometimes you just pour it on and you don't even need paint.
It just says apply over any folk art paint to give it an iridescent color shifting finish.
How long have you had that? I've never seen that one.
I just got it not that long ago.
Oh, cool. That would be very, like a very clean color with no glitter. You know, the dragonfly glaze?
They were cleaning out their warehouse, so maybe you got one of the old time bottles.
Yeah, okay, I've never heard of that one. Special girl, you are. But I have seen that product in other lines. There is another company that I used to use when I used to do airbrushing, and we used to do that as well. It had an opal color, and it's like a clear, almost like a sealer, but not a sealer. It's just like another color of translucent color that you can put on top of a color to give it that little bit more opal look. Mother of pearl. This dragonfly glaze is the same thing, but it's got like a glitter in it. So your product probably just has a very transparent color, and when you look at it the right way under light, you'll start to see blue and green and little bits of different colors like an opal. And that's, like I said, I only have experience from other lines and products and things that I've done in other industries, that I have some sort of knowledge about that kind of product, but I've never seen plaids. I do have one from another company. Like I said, it's really watery, and I used to put it in my airbrush gun. So yeah, that could be lots of fun if you want a nice pearly effect over your colors. You have to try it. Do some samples. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Sure.
If you use the enamel, like on a metal,
Mm-hmm.
would you have to like put epoxy over that or something?
Metal, like a jug, like a watering can, or
Well,
like a jar?
Well, a lot of the people that I'm involved with, I engrave, and they do a lot of guns, like hunting guns and stuff like that. And someone had used some enamel on, but it was bright colors, and I'd never seen anybody use enamel on a gun, on a hunting gun.
There is enamels. You know when the kids used to make the car models, and then they sell the paint, the little jars of paint of enamels. Those are super, super strong paints. They have a smell to them. You gotta almost use a varnish to clean your brush.
Hey, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, those kind of paints will definitely be, something that you could look into. But
I didn't even stop to think about them.
yeah, those depends on the. You might want to put some sort of base coat on it. I've done a lot of metal items, like for the garden decor. You got statues and things that are made out of iron, and they go rusty. Definitely, I've had to put a coat of Tremclad on it first, and then I can add my multi-surface on top of my Tremclad base coat. Just to stop the rust from coming through. So that is a good question, because it's not a very popular project thing that we do for classes, is working on garden decor. But I have had a lot of people ask me questions about it, because I've done ceramics. I've done, I paint on anything. I've even cement, so different cement things for the garden. So yeah, you definitely got to consider the surface that you're painting on, and definitely, is it an outside item? It's going to live outside. You're going to need a really good sealer on it.
Yeah, otherwise they start mildewing.
The colors fade, and then it may chip off and wear and tear, especially if it's out through the winter time. And if you're getting snow like we do, then any moisture that gets under that paint is going to freeze, it's going to expand, and then it's going to start chipping.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely outside, indoor, outdoor makes a big difference as well. No, great questions. I love all the pick my brain.
Now, they make paint for plastic, too, don't they?
They do, and the problem with plastic items is if it's flexible, like this is flexible, it's going to crack. That's, if it's a hard, rigid plastic, we did a bunch of chargers, like serving platters, plastic ones that you get at the dollar store. They're not flexible, right? So they were.
Like what about planters? Like the side rail planters that you put on the rails of like decks and stuff like that.
Definitely, being outside is the problem, and if there's any movement in that plastic at all, it'll chip off. If it's a really rigid, hard plastic, then it might last as long as you're careful with it, and then it would definitely need a good sealer on it if it's outside.
Yeah.
Then I would go in and maybe buy some Tremclad if you just want one big solid color of something, and then spray it down, and then you can still do some of your one-stroke work on top of your Tremclad.
Right.
Yeah, for big items, definitely I might consider getting Tremclad out. For your outdoor planters that are really big. Right, get that base color down and then add your decorations. You can always add multi-surface and flowers and leaves and decorate it after.
Right.
Yeah, something more durable for the item that you're going to be leaving outside. If it was indoor, it wouldn't matter. Multi-surface is wonderful, but plastic, the only problem with plastics is some are very flexible. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what you have to stay away from. Yeah, and the enamel series is meant to go on glass, right? Something that's really hard, doesn't move. And like wine glasses or vases, pitchers, cake covers, like, you know, those nice stands that you can put a cake in and then you put a cover over it. Those are really popular to paint on. So yeah, you can,
I have some gnomes that sit out on my deck that are about maybe 2.5 feet tall.
yeah, check
You know,
out
those
through
gnomes
my
that they were, and I touch them up every year.
Facebook page. I showed a lot of examples of the stuff that I've done for people who hire me to fix their stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of fun with that. I got another one sitting on my deck waiting for me, made out of cement, that's missing a wing. It's got two swans, a bird bath that's missing a bit of a wing. So that's my next project as soon as it gets a little nicer outside.
Yeah.
So
I'm just waiting for the sun.
So yeah, you guys got any stroke work you want me to show you, or any questions at all that I can maybe help you with? You guys, how you guys doing with your daisy strokes? To, I don't know, anything. You want me to show you any kind of stroke work today? We haven't been playing with any paint for a while. Some of my girls that did the gallery glass with me. So, painting on black. That's another challenge all by itself too.
Mandy, Donna showed, I took a class the other day from her, and she was doing the chopped rose, and I had a hard time trying to get it done. So, do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't even see it.
She did the rose and just with chopped steps. You know, let me show you what I don't have it here.
Yeah, she did those a couple of years ago, a chop rose or something like that. She was calling it.
Yeah. It was different than her usual rose, and I had a hard time with it.
Well, she's been doing a lot more looser, encouraging people to paint loose. So I guess it's trying not to be so perfect.
It's the rose that she did with that resin class.
Yeah.
So if you saw the photo of that rose, that's what Sue's talking about.
And they were just sharing, like,
Yeah, let me get the photo.
Yeah, I think I missed it because I've been working
Did
a
you
lot.
get it, Donna?
I struggle with that one too because I'm so used to wanting to do the wiggle part.
I can see that.
And it's just looks like a lot of choppy comma strokes.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I don't have my brushes up here, too. Where's my 12?
Yeah, I'm hunting a picture of it.
Yeah, if it's what I'm thinking, she hasn't done one of those in a while. She did them a couple of years ago.
I can't find it.
And if I know Donna, she probably used the 16.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But it looks like it was mostly chop around the bud. And then after you get the bud done, it's like 3 layers of chop.
Yeah.
Then she did a whole bunch of comma strokes.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's definitely very straight strokes. Oops, getting white all over the place already. And you'll see too, a lot of times, you guys that don't know me very well, I don't always use medium. Medium is definitely great for times when you need to make that brush move a lot. When you're doing a lot of daisy strokes, small strokes, you really need that paint to be on the tip of the brush. You know, just dampening it once when you go to start. You have a brand new brush, you haven't used it yet, it's dry. Having that little bit of moisture in the brush, but not too much, right? You want to make sure that it's just damp, not wet. And then multi-loading your brush. Playing around with just breaking it down in stroke work is what I like to do too, right? Getting comfortable with the look. And you know, when I first got you to practice, I got you to do a straight box, right? Just to practice that gradient. And then definitely the U is, you know, you're moving that brush around, right? And this is the balance between the two. You got to try to just not do so much of a strong U. It's definitely a little bit more straighter, smaller little chop, and then picking up the brush again, and then chop again. And if you're a little bit lower and higher, you know, you're moving around a little bit, so you get that inconsistency. So it's definitely just very smooth strokes, like to close it, right? She's doing around the circle, right? She might be doing that U stroke, but she's doing it bigger, and she's doing it with smaller little strokes in it. That make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing, and she was keeping the brush flat.
Yeah. And then as you're coming around the closers, you know, then it's her, you know, typical just, it's not even a nice dolphin nose, right? Like I push you guys to make a perfect, you know, little connector to the last petal, and then bringing it out, and, you know, it definitely is just your basic daisy strokes. But so your lazy daisies, right? So you remember, you got to kind of follow that white under, so then it looks like it's that little tiny stroke that she's doing, right? So if you're doing it straight through like a perfect daisy, you got that, your white is not going to be on the right side. Does that make sense too?
No, that last thing you said doesn't make any sense.
When you're doing a perfect daisy stroke, you're supposed to put the white right through the middle.
Okay.
But sometimes if we have our hand a little bit lazy to the side, and when you do that daisy stroke, you see how the white is on the right side?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're over-directed on the other side, you're doing a daisy stroke kind of still, but your white is not going down the middle.
Okay. My hardest part, too, was when I tried to do the quick comma stroke. I would have a trail of red sticking out farther than the comma stroke itself.
Gotta get right up on that chisel.
That chisel, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. But you know, a lot of times we're doing another stroke right behind it, so a lot of times you don't worry about it because it'll cover, right?
And then I would go back and try to add more comma strokes, and when I did, I would hit the previous ones, and it just smeared everything.
Yeah, definitely layering and working yourself out of it, right? And then, and definitely sometimes it's easier to add on top than trying to get it under it.
Yeah, see, I was trying to go under it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you've created your
bigger mess.
Yeah, you've created your full rows. Again, a lot of times it's just very jaggedy, right? To get that skirt done. And then sometimes she'll do the top part and work her way down, right? When she's doing some of those roses. She doesn't do the full skirt all the way around, because it looks a little bit different by the time it gets to the bottom. And then she'll add another layer. Oops, a little bit lobby there. Right? And it's just being you know, not neat about it really. It's just really jaggedy. Having consistent, some bigger, some a little smaller, right? Looks really pretty. And then when you're slowly curling and cupping the side pieces eventually, right? When you get into these side pieces, you definitely got to have that focus of your comma stroke, right? It kind of curls things around, and then she makes a lot bigger petals all the way around, right? Bringing them sideways. Depending on the angle of your rose. Because you want some nice big petals here at the bottom. Right, a little bit dry. I haven't even played with medium yet. Right, just pressure, wiggles. And she probably has a couple wiggles in there. But again, just trying to make them a little bit smaller. Coming a little bit lower when you go to cut in front of the other one. Right, so you see the gradient there, so you can see the separate petals. Right, because if you keep going, you'll end up with no separation of it, right? You think that they got to be all. See how that's not giving me an interesting look?
Right, that's what as I was working, I realized that each stroke had to start at a different spot, like either above the previous one or below it.
Yeah. Right, and then again to the side, you gotta kind of curl around. Right, she might even chop that one in half too. Right. I haven't seen her do it in a long time, but definitely it's a lot of. You gotta be comfortable with the basic strokes before you learn how to be loose. Right, I always say that how could you be loose if you're not comfortable with the basic strokes? You don't know how to manipulate them or make them looser. How do you make it loose? It's a good question. By really feeling comfortable with your stroke work, right? Then you can change. That's the way I get you guys to play. We go down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Right? I get you guys to play with lots of fast movements. Bumpy movements where you're actually bumping. You're not drawing on this one. You're bumping. This is the biggest connection for me, is learning how to bump my brush. It's all with pressure. Right? So then when you're doing this loose stroke, you're bumping it. Right? You're putting pressure in a different way. You're not just painting, painting. It's got to be pressure, right? Your little pressure pops.
We're so used to following through with the chisel that this was hard for me to just stop in the middle of the stroke.
Yeah, and then come down a little lower, maybe a little bit higher, right? I'm really loopy here. Oops, I'm not paying attention here. Right, and then your closer, so you have to make sure you still do the same fundamental parts of the rose, right? Your little connectors, and then to kind of close each side. Right, and then she still might have a nice little point somewhere, that gives that rose center definition. And then she'll go back to her, you got to still have some focus somewhere. But definitely it's harder to start at the top and work your way down, right? So the best thing to do is try to start at the bottom at this point of your rose, right? Once you got the initial closer at the U to close, then you can start back at the bottom. And I always say go a little bit bigger and then slowly smaller, right? Like that's another thing too, understanding the structure of the rose. So if you didn't understand the structure of the rose, then you have a hard time with the placement of everything, because in my class I show you, remember, your petals have to be the biggest on the outside, slowly getting smaller till you get to the middle, right? And then where you cut, right? So we have our closer here. This is the bottom of the little bud, right? So you don't want to be too high. So when you come in, just close, and then you can make them a little bit longer too. You still want to have most of that stroke. You don't want to go too high. So I see a lot of people trying to go too high. Does that kind of help?
Yeah, that
reminding you also about, doesn't matter what kind of stroke you're gonna do, definitely understanding the rows. That's why I was showing you guys all these little exercises with your liner brush, right? With the liner rows, because it's a great reminder of how to build your rows up, getting it a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. Right, and that's why I like getting add a little bit of water into your paint if you want to do some liner practice. So you're starting off small and tight with your rosebud, but then you're slowly getting bigger. So a little bit bigger, more space, right? So as you're building your rose, the petals have to change size. And even with these chop movements, so she's making them really big in the back, and then slowly as she's layering, then you can start getting a little bit smaller, then a little bit smaller, and then a little bit smaller, right? So that it slowly tightens up that rose.
All right, can you make a bud using that chopped? A bud by itself,
Just
using the chopped stroke.
Yeah. So again, just your basic outside, but you still need that closer to bring it down. And then just closing it very loosely, giving it lots of space, right? So you don't have to be a perfect U-stroke. That helps too to make it looser. And then you're still going to probably grab somewhere to kind of pull some sides, right? Again, my gradient was very, very white, so I need more dark. So you always need those side pieces somewhere. And then you can do another layer like she did. Does that help? Sometimes
That helps a lot.
I grab the tail of my other stroke and do some side.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, very airy and open too, right? Trying to be a regular. Not so perfect in this part, like a perfect U. Definitely open it up. And don't make it so circly. Just a little bit of a windshield washer, and it's more with pressure. It's not me drawing. It's putting less pressure, more pressure, and then less pressure. You got that? Because a lot of times we're trying to draw. Bump. Gotta do some more bump practices. Bump that brush. As you're moving it sideways, you got no pressure, lots of pressure, a little bit of pressure. I dissected you guys with a lot of stuff, but then when you start to see other things, then you see how it's all connected. I was getting you ready for it all, but you didn't realize. But you guys that have already done my program a long time ago might have forgot some things that I show you too. So yeah, definitely the angle, right, is those side pieces around the circle. The side here is usually where the troublemaker area is, and then of course in front. But you see how these were bigger, and then they got a little smaller, and still being able to see your last stroke too, guys, right? Don't layer too much too. Like you see how much I just barely covered. Right, you guys are going up too high in that stroke. Back up especially like the ones at the bottom upside down, and then just barely cover that bottom stroke. Like it really opens things up a lot more. So the big thing I see is layering too tight, right? So sometimes we do, sometimes, you know, there's benefits, you know, depending on how small and tight that you want to do, right? You can definitely layer really tight, but also layer loose is what I call it, like, so that there's lots of space in between each stroke. So you're just barely covering the tip of it, giving it a lot more air in some areas, and then as you're moving in, then definitely you're getting in a little tighter too. Alright, so I didn't like the gradient, I wanted it a little darker pink, I went over it again. Right, so not being afraid to go over and fix things. Definitely. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you, Mandy.
Oh, no problem. I'm sad I missed her class. I've been just so busy with my life there lately, and then just edited 8 hours of gallery glass videos and getting my site done. And so yeah, unfortunately I missed some of Donna's stuff there lately. I almost thought I was going to play with you guys with a rose tonight. For some reason, I had a premonition. But you see how at the bottom here, how it flips over? It really looks like that flower is leaning over at the bottom. The top parts are a little bit different than the bottom part of that rose, too. So yeah, definitely show me some of your practice. Send me pictures on my messenger. I love seeing it. That's the only way I can help, if you guys show it to me. Yeah, definitely, Donna. So much to do, so little time. Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
That was beautiful, Mandy.
Thank you.
I really like the color variations in there.
Definitely.
It really highlights that rose.
Yeah, and then again, there was probably parts of that I wasn't really explaining to its fullest. I do in my program about trying to get those layers built up slowly, a little lighter at a time. You know, like sometimes we have to go back to those basics and then try to adapt it
gorgeous.
into another style, right? You know, like I said, I show you guys 6 different wiggles. So I guess this is number 7, Sue. Right? The chop kind of stroke. And then it all depends on if you're doing open or closed, right? Like I show you guys with those shell strokes. When you're pivoting or if you're not pivoting, it's going to make a difference too, right? So, you know, you got that direction to bring it back to the pivot. I don't know if it'll work too much on this one. But definitely, that was probably more used with an open. Your standard shell stroke has a pivot. Or you can make it, you know, like a U stroke, right? So that's what I call the variations of a shell stroke. Depending on if you have a really big circle, right? You got a really big poppy. Or do you have like a little pansy center? Those makes the differences again. You got to get all the way around that big poppy center. Right? Real random wiggle there. Oops. Leading over. Right? Blobby. Go work it over. Right? You got to get all the way around that whole center. So you've got a lot more space to get around. Where here, if you just do it like a dot, then you've got to keep it tight to get all the way around that flower. right? So it's more your pivot point, like your teardrop style with a wiggle. So you just got to remember the center of the flower that you're doing too is like, how much space do I need? And if you're doing a little tiny rosebud, you know, you're very, very sharp in there. Just keep playing, guys. That's all I can say. The more you practice with all those side strokes, right, doing your daisy strokes sideways will help you feel more comfortable with those closers. And then also, like I said, the daisy stroke is usually right through the middle. You're putting lots of pressure and you're going right through the middle and up on your chisel. Where these are a little bit more on a flat start, where your white will follow. So as long as you're building your rose and you've got that white under, that's what's going to help look like those layers. Sometimes I see them on the top. You're doing them and then you got your white on the top and it's not going to look good for under your bud. Those areas are great for over a bud because you're continuing the flower circle like that way. But now you got to go under the bud, right? So the colors of the, where you have your highlights will always change. Under or on top. So I just kind of really trying to loosely play. And the only way I can do that carefree is because I am so comfortable with my rose in the first place. So definitely keep practicing the basic rose and then you can bump it up by how much pressure, how many wiggles, no wiggles, flatter strokes, bumpy strokes. How's that sound? Yeah. Great topic for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Definitely keep your ideas coming to me too. Anything you're struggling with, send me a message, comment down below, and let me know how you're feeling, how you're struggling with your one stroke. And we always meet this last Tuesday of the month. You can RSVP on my site and get the code and a reminder of the event. Email will come and give you the code again. And yeah, join us again and or message me. And like I said, we can always meet on Zoom, private, one-on-one. You guys that are on my full program, you got free Zooms whenever you need it. And but I do charge as well for private lessons. If you guys haven't jumped on my program, you can definitely contact me for a private class. I charge $25 an hour. Right, so then you can pick my brain on however you need me. If you can't wait till the end of the month. Or maybe you have a project that you're working on and you need a little bit more help on how to finish it.
Thank you, Mandy. You helped out a lot tonight.
Great, thank you so much. Like I said, contact me. I got a 30% coupon for you if you want to jump on my full program. I'd love to have you like part of that. And then it really, all my tips and tricks are in it, guys. I can't say enough of the built, what I've built. As long as you're willing to put the time in, I've got the time for you. I've got the videos, I got the practice sheets, I've got lots and lots for you to play with.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Okay, you guys all have a great night.
Okay, thank you, Mandy.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you, Mandy.
Yeah, have a great night. We'll see you again soon. I'll come up with something for sure, fun for you guys for the club. Every month you get another project added to it. So one way or another, live or recorded, you'll get something. All right, guys, thank you so much for being a part of that, the ones that are. And really means a lot to me, guys, having you here come every month. And yeah, happy creating.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll see you again soon.